All right, good morning once again, and thank you for joining our webinar today. So our discussion will be how to review shares and activities done by all users in FileCloud. Our topics would include share options or permissions, managing shares, and share activities. All right, so to those who have questions along the way with the topics, feel free to type them in the chat box here in Zoom. All right, and I'll answer the questions right after. All right, so for those who are new with FileCloud, I just want you to share that just to make sure that you are logging in to the correct portal, which is the user and admin. So the user should have the UI/core and the URL, and the admin should have your URL/UI/admin. Right, so let's start by logging in. Okay, so those who are not yet familiar with about our shares and permissions, in FileCloud, we have two types of shares. That is public share and the private share. So this is our user portal. The My Files is the personal storage of the user, whereas all the shared files can be accessible by team folders, which is managed by the administrator. The network shares and the shared would be where all files shared by the another user in your organization. These are all fine here and shared with me. So for the first type of share, which is the public share, let me just show you how to quickly share a file. That is just by clicking a file, click share, and you automatically get a share link. So that is what we call the public share. It allows you to share the folder or the file to anyone inside and outside your organization without the recipient having to log into FileCloud. So let's click advanced options here. All right, so if you share this URL, then anybody who has the URL can access the file because the share permissions is set to everyone. Now, the second type of share is what we call private share because it allows you to share to specific FileCloud users or groups only. So to do a private share, let's just add, just search for anyone in your organization. Let's try to add whale. You have the option to send an email notification to whale or cancel it. And also you can add group instead of per user. You can just select the group here. Right. So if you notice, the default share permissions for the private share is allow and download only. So it doesn't automatically allow the user to reshare the file. So if you need, if you grant the user to reshare the file, then just click allow share. All right, so that is for the sharing permissions. If you also notice, if you allow the file to be shared in public, you also have the option to have an expiration date or and a password protection. All right. So the password protection is not applicable for the private share. All right. So if you set an expiry date, for example, you can just set the file to expire on April 2. What happens is that when it is expired, it will show a logo like this beside a file where it says invalid private share, meaning the sharing of this file is no longer active. So on the end of the user, it will also show up as invalid, meaning the user can no longer access the file. So that would be our basis to know whether the file has already expired. So for email file change notifications, so you can actually enable this by the administrator, which I will show you later. You have the option to send any kind of change notification, whether the file has been updated by the another user or whether it is deleted. So you have the option to add that one here, either yes or no. In the administrator side, to enable the file change notification, let's just go to the settings. Then let's go to miscellaneous, go to notifications, and make sure that you tick the enable file change notifications. All right, so you also have another option here to tick whether you disable email notifications for limited users, since those users only have the limited permissions. All right, so that is the email file change notifications. Also, beside here in our share URL, we have few options here, which is the customize share link. So you have the option to customize this to any name that can be easily familiarized by the team or by the group or by the user. And just select that one. All right, so you can, in FileCloud, it is possible to customize the share link. And we also have here a send link via email where you can just add the email address of the user and it will send the share link to that user. So please note that if that user is a non-FileCloud user account, it will automatically give them an account in FileCloud. Okay, share activity. So you can find here all kinds of activity made by the user or the shared user. All right. So this gives some insights on the latest activities on the share. It also gives detailed information on who did the share, when and how and from. Right. So that is listed here. So just remember that you cannot set the enable password field on a private share, this one. And you cannot set another password on a privately shared file or folder. All right. So the remove share, so if you wanted to delete a share of a specific file, then you just go remove this. So if, for example, we have shared this one to whale, and if you click remove share, it will automatically set to the default sharing options. So all of the groups and the users will be removed from that share. On the end of the shared file, so we access that through shared files. To remove yourself on the file, then you just go to your shared files and click remove. And same with the activity and activity that that I have shared a while ago. We also have an activity here for the shared files. It just can be clicked here. So, all right, it just updated. And then from here in the shared files, you also have the option to filter according to last access of the file, according to the share URL, and to the created date. At the same time, you can also filter this one to just private shares only, or do the public shares, or search for those expired shares. So you can manage all those shares here, right? Uh, Next would be how to review the shares and activities. So if we click on the file on this right side, we have the activity. So the activity stream will actually show also the geolocation information, which starts on FileCloud version 17.3 and later. So you can see here all the activities for file uploads, downloads, and updates. Now going back to the admin portal to manage all the user shares, let's just go here to the user shares tab. And then it's listed here all the username, the location, whether it's public or private. And you can easily manage each file here where you can see to which file, to which user is the specific file being shared. So the administrator has complete control on that through here in the user shares. Then you can also export this file if you need to investigate something or do a report. All right, so that's most likely all about the sharing files and activities. So it's basically the same with the team folders where the administrator can manage the files in the team folder. And if you click manage, then you will see the same share options and the share permissions where the administrator has complete control with, right? So to those who have questions, please feel free to chat them. I'll be leaving this webinar open for 2 to 3 minutes for those who have questions. And while waiting, we have here, I'm going to show you our support documentation, which is www.getfilecloud.com/support docs. You can easily search for anything here. If you need a guide on your issues or any topics that would you like. And also, if you need, if you have technical issues, then we have a support portal where it's help.codelate.com. So you can just submit a ticket and one of our support engineers can get back to you. And please continue joining our webinars. It's under resources. Our next webinar would be on April 8th. So we have a weekly webinar, which is every Wednesday. Then we also have tutorial videos here where you can review all of the previous webinars and some specific FileCloud features.